All right, guys, we are back in the garage working on another motorcycle, and today it's the 2012 Moto Guzzi Norge GT8V. This is my main motorcycle. I love this bike. It's fast, it's fun, it's comfortable, it's got loads of character, but it also has an oil leak. And the oil leak has been coming from this junction of the oil line that connects these two cylinder heads and comes down the front of the bike to the oil cooler. So I ordered this oil cooler line 1 month and 2 days ago, and I finally got it in the mail yesterday, which for a 13-year-old Italian motorcycle, me living in the United States, that's not bad. I actually tried to get this part through the dealer. They took 2 weeks just to call me back to tell me that it would be 3 to 4 weeks. So I saved a week, probably 2 weeks, possibly more, by ordering this direct from a distributor in the Netherlands. Also got all the required gaskets that we'll need. And I also got a little breather pipe for the airbox that was split. I noticed that when I took the bike apart. So today we're gonna drain the oil on the bike, try to remove this defective oil line, fish that up through the motorcycle, put the new one on, change the oil, and hopefully we'll be riding again. First thing we're doing is dropping the oil from the engine, and we're going to change the oil filter too. One thing to know about Moto Guzzis is that you need a special tool for the oil filter because it's got 16 flats and they're different sizes, alternating long, short, which is super annoying. This is a factory OEM filtro olio oil filter. I find this kind of thing super annoying when manufacturers do this. I had a Harley and I needed to get a special tool for that because the oil filter is so darn close to, I think it was the starter motor or something on the front of the engine. I needed a special tool to get it off. I guess if all you ride is Harley or if all you ride is Moto Guzzi, no big deal, but I ride everything, you know, Honda, Yamaha, Suzuki, Ducati, Moto Guzzi, Harley, Indian Victory, KTM. I've had all kinds of motorcycles, and when you have to buy special tools for something as simple as an oil filter, I find that super annoying. With the oil and filter now dropped out of this bike, we're going to undo this fitting at the bottom of the oil line where it meets the oil cooler, and we're going to drop the oil out of this line before we go up to the cylinder head and remove those connections. It's already drained out. Easy enough. All right. You got the old one disconnected. And the washer's on there, so that's good. Okay, I gotta remember to route this underneath that wire. And this should just pull straight up through this mess. All right, there's the old hose, and you can see where our problem was coming from. Somewhere in this joint, we had a leak. Here, I can give you a better view of this left cylinder head. This is the easy one. See what I'm trying to do here? I'm trying to get this banjo bolt with this gasket on the end of it into this hole. Wanting to go in there. Oh, I think I got it. All right, guys, we got our new oil line plumbed from our oil cooler up to the left cylinder head and over to the right. If you can see that, everything's tightened up. So now we just gotta get this engine filled back up with oil, new filter, See if we can't somehow get it started without an airbox on it. And just check for this. Okay, that was the bike running. As you can see, it's not really put together. I just temporarily hooked up the fuel tank so I could run it. There's no airbox on it. In fact, all the airbox and all the bodywork, that's gonna take me a while to put back together. It's been apart for a month, so if I even remember how it goes back together will be kind of a miracle. But what I wanted to do was just put a little bit of gas in the tank, temporarily hook it up. It's fuel injected, so there's a fuel pump in the tank. It's got to pressurize the fuel rail, which is why I can't just run it off a bottle like a carbureted bike. I wanted to run it just to see if I had any oil leaks. I wasn't revving it up to redline, but it doesn't seem like it's leaking from anywhere, which is a good thing. I think I may have fixed the oil leak. So the next step is to get this thing put back together properly and take it out on the road. All right, guys, we got our airbox installed. It took me 2.5 hours to get that thing installed and hooked up to the throttle bodies and have no air leaks. By far the most difficult airbox install I've ever done. I've done a Honda Valkyrie, which was extremely difficult with 6 different runners to 6 different carburetors, which I had fully rebuilt. But this was probably 10 times harder than that. Before we button this all up, put the fuel tank and the bodywork back on, I want to wire in this SP Connect vibration absorbing wireless phone charging phone mount. And I'm going to do that via this wire, which Moto Guzzi provided for customers back in the day when this was made, 2012, for a specific TomTom GPS unit that nobody uses anymore. So we're going to cut these wires, eliminate this connector, and we're going to put in a USB connection. All right, we've got our phone mount and charging system plugged into our USB outlet, which has been mounted to the interfering subframe and hardwired to the bike. Nice little upgrade. All right, after getting the airbox fitted, we got all the fairings back on the bike, the tank, got her running, got the bags back on her. She's looking great. Took her for a nice test ride. The Moto Guzzi Norge is running very well and no longer leaking oil. I think we've got this beautiful bike back on the road and our oil leak is fixed.